Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you. I'm Canadian, so you're supposed to be friendly. Let's get this out of the way. About. Out. What you talking about? What else? We don't say A. You say we say A. We don't say A. We say that just to throw you off. We also don't eat Canadian bacon. That's something we made up for Americans to eat so they don't eat our real bacon. You think we're all polite and stuff, but behind your back, we're nasty. Totally nasty. So you got the book. Should QR codes kill kittens? Yes? Yes, good. Read it?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, by the way. Thank Kat. Don't thank me. She's the reason I'm here. And if you don't like it, blame her. So either way, I'm out of the whole situation here. I'm out of the system. So hope you like it. It's a business picture book. First one in history, I think. Business picture book for the fed up. That's what we call it. So if one of your companies is in it, I'm sorry. That's awkward. So we'll just have to get past that somehow. I don't know how. I'm going to sign them, and I will sign anything you want in them. Anything. I'll write anything you want. At 11 o'clock, I'll be outside here signing them for you. I actually wrote it so you could give it to people who are upsetting you in business. So, being in the creative world, in the marketing world, there's always somebody, usually the client, who screws everything up for you and insists you use QR codes on everything, or insists you do this, or insists on that color orange you used in the ad is not orange enough, or something ridiculous like that. This is what you give them. You give them that book and say, stop being this, or you're going to show up in it. So I also have stickers. I brought stickers for you. So when I'm signing them out, I'll give them to you. This sticker, it's for a cause I greatly believe in. It says, end email reply all. So it's something that really sits here for me. Email reply all killed my father. So it's really close to my heart. So we got those stickers for you. So please come on and grab a sticker as well. I'd be more than happy to give you, post them on laptops and books and whatever else you want. So that's the kitten. Obviously, you recognize from the cover of the book. It's the best $43 I ever spent on iStock. But since I want to get a positive ROI from it, I'm going to leave it up there for a few moments. I should. All right, we're good. So that's simply if you go search iStock and put sad kitten, there you go. There's what comes up. So I'm real happy with that. We had a lot of covers for the book too, like very fancy art and business style ones. And I'm like, that just needs it. When the last time you're going to have a chance to put a kitten on a cover? And we put that bad boy on there. So I'm very happy. And we call him Spaz. So he's going to be, he's a good kitten. So a couple of things I want to talk to you about is what we think marketing is, what we think marketing is actually versus what I say it is and what I think it is. On the left-hand side of the screen here, we have what marketing is to us. It's the logo, right? It's the corporate identity. It's the brand, if I can use that horrible term sometimes. On the right-hand side of the screen is what I call unmarketing. And unmarketing is my world. It's my website and the company and the Twitter name and the Facebook name, everything else. Unmarketing is my world. And I always say the right-hand side of the screen is more powerful because that's Joshi. Joshi is a stuffed giraffe, or a semi-stuffed giraffe now. He's very poorly stuffed, but he's a child's favorite toy, a security blanket type of thing, a favorite thing. So, he was left at the Ritz-Carlton, Amelia Island in Florida. Great place, great resort. I spoke at an event there 9 months ago. And the kid forgot him. He lost him. He actually got rolled up in the sheets, and he lost him. He forgot him, and he got home, and they went back to Arizona. What happens if your kid loses their favorite thing? Who here has kids that you know about, you can stake claim to, right? Okay, good. So you know what happens, right? It's just freak out time. It's meltdown time and forget about it, right? It's like if you lost your phone. Tell me you're not going to freak out if you lost your phone. I once asked a room full of, I was speaking at a conference and it was an entire room of moms. And I said, which is worse, if you lost your phone at the mall or you lost your kid? And they did exactly what you just did. Well, the kid would come back to security. They know last place I saw them, they'd come back to, right? They wouldn't return the iPhone 5, would they? Yes, like the nice one too, or I got the gold one. And my kid does not have access to my address book or my calendar, or my email, right, or Candy Crush. So I can't really. I hate that game. So of course he panics and he freaks out, and of course he wants to. Of course you're not going to find that giraffe again. It's just not going to happen, right? Of course the one toy you buy your kid is like the one of a kind item. So the father, when he got back from his trip, he came back and he did what any good father would do for his kid when he's panicking, and he lied to his son. And he said that Joshy is on an extended vacation, right? And he'll be back soon, and which is great, Dad, great call, until you realize you got to find him again, right? You actually got to return him now. So not only did the hotel find him, he actually called Ritz-Carlton and said, we found him actually, and they found him in the laundry, rolled up in the sheets, and they brought him back up to Lost and Found. Now, just that alone should be the end of the story, right? Like that should be the end of the story because you got something returned. If you ever stayed at a hotel before, you understand you lose something in a hotel, it's gone. And if you get lost in a hotel room, you're gone. Like you're never coming back. It's a black hole, right? Not only did they return him, and not only did they overnight him back without a charge to the family, they also sent back vacation photos of Joshy's vacation at the hotel. The cucumbers make the shot, right? It really pushes it over the edge. Like, it's enough the masseuses working the temples and stuff like that. But somebody went, whoa, 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 hang on. There we go. Now let's do it, right? Joshy enjoying the pool. They went around the resort and did a photo shoot with them, right? This is Joshy meeting new friends at the bar. That dolphin is inappropriate. Last night at your shindig, a couple inappropriate dolphins there, maybe? If you can't spot the inappropriate dolphin in your little group you're talking to, you're the inappropriate dolphin. There's your new hashtag for the event, Kat. Inappropriate dolphin, right there. 3% of dolphins are inappropriate. So, and this is Joshy working loss prevention. Since he has to pay for his stay, since he has no money, because he's a freaking giraffe and he's got no money. And since he now works for the Ritz-Carlton, he has an ID badge. Right? I know, right? They took the package, the photos, the ID badge, plus Joshy, plus a letter from the general manager and overnighted it home. What's one word for this? Awesome, amazing, right? What do you think the father did when he got the package at home? Other than change his pants, what did he do? What did he do? Told everybody. He tweets it, he blogs it, he puts it up on Facebook, he emails it. I need something more relatable, hang on. He faxes it to people. This is amazing. Do I dial 9? No? Okay, it'll work. They're going to love this when I get it. Hang on. I had a realtor last year, by the way, say he could not accept my PDF of the scanned contract I sent him through email because they can't accept those, and if I could fax him the original. I'll give you a minute to think about that for a second. So I took the scanned PDF and went on a website that allows you to fax from a website, and I just uploaded the same PDF and it faxed it to me. He wrote back, goes, thanks, that's what I needed. This is why I write angry books, okay? This is why this happens, because people do that. Does he know that the original isn't going through forget it, I won't get too bent out of shape. So, but he tells everybody, right? He freaks out. Did I mention he blogs for the Huffington Post? Did I say that? I didn't say that. Okay, good. So, but the thing is, though, he didn't tell them like I blog for these people. Give it, find this thing for me. Because I think if you're only awesome with people with influence, you're not awesome at all, right? You're elitist, and I don't think it's the right way to do it. We should be treating our customers that they are the word of mouth machine because they are, right? And of course it goes viral. That's how I saw it. Somebody shared it on Facebook. Said this is an amazing story, right? And I went and saw it, and then I put it into books and I put it into talks. People always ask me. I've been doing this for almost 15 years now about viral and word of mouth and. From just viral marketing and word of mouth, offline to online to now social media is the biggest pusher of it. People always ask me, what's the secret? Give me the 6 steps. Give me this. And it makes it for a really nice blog post or a really nice talk, but it doesn't work that way. If you want word of mouth, you do something worth talking about. That's it. There's your secret, by the way. I'm going to save you 12 weeks of a course right there. That's it. That's everything. You want something to go viral, you make something worthy of spreading, of worth talking about. You don't have to be on Twitter to trend on Twitter. You do something worth talking about on there. You do something and people will choose their own avenues to share it on. I don't care if you're not on Tumblr. I don't care if you're not on Google+. I don't care if you're not on Facebook. If those users like what you've done, they will push it through those networks. Isn't that amazing? You don't have to be on social even to be good on social. You just have to do things worth talking about, right? Joshy doesn't have a Facebook account. He should. But he doesn't have one, right? He doesn't have one because that's what shares. But that, to me, is branding. We've got it wrong, us in marketing. We've got it wrong. We think this is branding. We think the logo is branding. We think the logo defines the company. I've designed these things horribly. I've designed things like this. Who here has designed a logo or given input on a logo? Who here, right? You'll never get that time of your life back. Never. Never get that time of your life back. Nobody cares about that logo except us and the person we designed it for. That's it. Nobody cares. Nobody stayed at Ritz-Carlton and said, you know what? The breakfast was cold, the room service was way overpriced, and the front desk person was a jerk. But did you see the logo? It's exquisite. I enjoy the strong lines and the font they went with. Nobody has ever said that. Nobody. But do you understand how much time must have been spent on this, especially if it was a rebrand? Rebrand is just Latin for we want more money, right? That's how it works. It's how we do things, right? The arguments about this logo, there was a left-facing Lion Camp argument. There was a right-facing Lion Camp argument. There was a tongue-out crowd. There was a conservative tongue-in crowd in the argument, right? There was an entire font faction going on about all caps versus bold. There was a creepy dude in the corner talking about Comic Sans. Nobody knew. For my designers in the room right there, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's people who have no business giving input in anything visual in this world who tell you how a logo should look. You know who should design logos? Designers should design logos. That's who should do that. People who can't even dress themselves coordinatedly in the morning are trying to tell me how a logo should look. Stop it. Stop it. A logo should represent the brand in a wonderful way and a clear way, which is what a designer can do. And every time somebody opens their trap about what should change about it, who has no skill or no say, it makes it worse. If it wasn't for clients, logo design would be so much easier. Right? I'm not sure who we would design the logo for, but that's okay. And here's the question I got to ask you. Here's the question that proves my point. In the actual Ritz-Carlton logo, which way is the lion actually supposed to be facing? Left or right? You know what the answer is? I don't know. I don't care. Neither do you. That's the point. What a logo does is one of two things. There's only two timelines of a logo. One, if I don't know what the brand is, and I see it, and I'm saying, oh, okay, that brand is a lion safari or something with a very regal one. And if I know the brand, then all the logo does is conjure up what I know about the brand. And usually what I know is a story. That's how we recall things. And now when I see Ritz-Carlton, I don't see the lion over the crown. I see Joshy, okay? I see him. That's how I think of it, because when we recall a brand, and what branding is when I say a company name, it's what you immediately think. It's like word association, right? If I say one word and you say something, right, that's the brand. That's the brand. When I think of Ritz-Carlton, I think of Joshy. Psychologists actually say that when we talk about a brand, the two things you remember is your last experience with them and your most extreme experience with them, good or bad. Okay, or the last experience you heard about them and the most extreme experience you heard about them. So to have Ritz-Carlton, I never have to stay there to know if the brand is good or not to me. And whenever I stay there, I look for Joshy type of experiences now, or at least to measure up to that, right? Because that's what I heard. I don't purposely leave stuffed animals in the room and stuff like that, but maybe I like to be treated like that, but that's the point, right? That's the point, is that's what branding is. Branding is what we do in our actions. We don't define what our brand is. I know we go away on fancy retreats and talk about what our brand stands for. We put it in plaques and in frames in offices. You want to know what your brand is, you ask a customer. And what they tell you, that's your answer. And it will not match, I promise you, it'll not match what you have up in glass on your office wall. Okay, it will not match what you have on your brochure. It's what they say. That's the brand. That's what we have to diagnose. As marketers, we're the ones supposed to be responsible for that brand, but not in a way of holding it and blocking it and locking it down. We're not supposed to be the protectors of the brand. We're supposed to be the influencers of the brand, right? And getting it out there. And that's the thing, is what influences brand the most are the people. We don't realize this. It's the people, and especially the front lines, right? It's the front lines. You could be as nice as you want to everybody here at your hotel, but if that front line person is a jerk, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you do, because they are the brand. I used to be in HR. I used to take human resources. I took that in college. I've taught that at college, and I was in HR for a couple years when I graduated. I had to get out because I realized I hate people fully. But it was a bad profession to be in. I had to get over into a new profession that hating people was an asset. So, marketing, right? So that's why I'm here. But that's the point, is that people, the front lines, you want to increase your bottom line, you improve the front line. And it's the worst thing we did was hiring. We didn't hire right. We just hired for warm body syndrome, especially those front lines. They have the most influence, and they don't even know it. And if that front line actually understood they do influence the bottom line, they will act differently. When people feel on a psychological level they have no consequence to their actions, they'll do anything they want, right? It's like your kids, right? It's like my son too. If he knew he could do whatever he wants, he will do whatever he wants. But if when they realize there's an impact to what they do it differently. And that front line can change it. I walked into a store called Lush. You guys have Lush here at all? The soap store, right? Yeah. Do I look like I go to soap stores? So I did an undercover sting operation just west of Toronto at a mall called Square One in Mississauga, and I went to 22 stores on a Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Anybody here work retail? You know what Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m. is like in retail? Right? It's like the Walking Dead series, right? There's just nobody there. And every store I went into, it's about 10 years ago, every store I went into, I just got ignored. Nobody cared, right? Nobody cared. And then I walked into Lush, the 23rd store. And the girl at the cash register just pops up and goes, "Hi!" "Hello?" She's like, "Your first time here?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Let me give you a tour." And she gives me a tour like it's the White House. It's 9 square feet. And she walks around, and this is the bath salts and the bath bomb. Do you take baths? I don't take baths. Well, this is the bath bomb and soap by the pound. I walked out with $79 worth of soap. Look at me. Do I look like I buy $79 worth of soap? That equaled the amount of money I spent on soap my life. I got home, my girlfriend said, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm going to go take a bath." It was the best bath ever. So good, but that's the difference. They influence that. On a transactional level, they influence that. It's amazing what you can do on just a person-by-person, case-by-case. But they're the people we pay the least and appreciate the least. Bad combination. All the stuff, the majority of stuff you guys will see in QR Codes Kill Kittens are because of front lines. And that's what we have to remember too, because marketing is not a task. It's not just our job in this room. It's everybody's job. If you're going to be the protector of the brand in marketing, you better damn well be the encourager of the employee. You better be able to say and help the employees, not stop them from doing things, but encourage them to do the right things because they have an impact, because they have an influence. And we have to stop doing things in marketing that make no sense. And my poster child for this is the QR code. This is a QR code made of Oreo cookies. It works. Don't scan it. Focus here with me. Stay with me for a second here. It's a QR code of Oreo cookies. I actually like both Oreo cookies and I like QR codes. I'm not against, even though I wrote a book called QR Codes Kill Kittens, I'm not against them. I'm against how we're using them. I like the theory of QR codes. They were invented over 20 years ago for the quick response code. They're invented for logistics and in the automotive industry for better warehousing and better planning. And that makes sense because they're a better they're better barcode. They hold more info. It makes so much sense. But then along came us marketers and we screwed it all up. This is what we're doing. We're using QR codes to show that we're using QR codes. That's the most definition of QR codes I can give you right now. We're using them to show, hey, look, we use them. And no thought of why. QR codes are like me as a teenager. They have potential. My mom said I had potential as a teenager. And until I became a parent, I didn't know what that meant. And what potential means is he sucks now. Scott sucks now, but one day he may not. Yes? That's what it meant. That's what it means. I understand that now. And the same with QR codes. QR codes in closed circles, environments work very well. Sports tickets, hospital wristbands with patient information on it. Fantastic. It's everything else that we screwed up with them, okay? I've seen QR codes on billboards on the side of the freeway. What do you want me to do? Distance plus motion does not equate quality scanning opportunities for things. I don't. This is where I start getting angry, so please bear with me. I have seen QR codes on airline magazines. Let me explain it to you. On the way here, my 5.5-hour flight from Toronto, you open up the magazine. When do you open up an airline magazine, if at all? When do you do that? When you're taking off and when you're landing. Why? Because they won't let you use your phone. Which is what I need to use to scan the code. And possibly a signal that will allow me to scan your wonderful code and go onto the internet tube somewhere for you. I had somebody in the audience, it was an agency audience, and somebody in the audience in front goes, people can take the magazine home with them. Only very lonely people take airline magazines home. Okay? If that's your demographic, you should pursue it. It should make sense. But stop doing things like this. This is on a mall door, and at the top of it, there's a blue sticker. It says Facebook with a QR code beside it. It's in the book. And it's a sticker with a QR code. Now, it makes sense to do this, by the way. Facebook is mobile friendly. The majority of people, over 60% now, people who access Facebook on a daily basis will use it on a mobile device. Makes sense. So the QR code will go to a mobile friendly page. Ta-da! It's like, we did it. Successful. So when I want to go to the mall Facebook page, I'm not sure why you do, but let's say I want to go to it, you walk up to scan it, and the door opens. Outwards. Into your hand. Look at it. It says, there's a QR code, keep clear. QR code, keep clear. Make up your mind. I have seen QR codes on bananas. And I scan them. And it says, scan here for smoothie recipe. And I scan it. And up pops a video and says, sorry, not playable on a mobile device. The only thing that scans a QR code is a mobile device. Nobody's taking their PC and flipping it upside down to get your smoothie recipes. Stop it! Every time somebody scans a QR code and it doesn't work, a kitten dies. And there's your title of the book. That's where it came from. That's this book. That's where we got the title from, was from that, me losing my mind and talking about that, which is the best way to get up a title of a book. But that's the point. On all seriousness, every time somebody scans a QR code and it doesn't work properly, they're less likely to scan another one. Yes? Yeah. We're hurting ourselves when we use QR codes improperly. We're just putting them on there because we saw our competitor use them, so we should do it, right? I have gotten QR codes in emails. No? Let me give you a visual. The email comes here. You with me? Okay, right, it's a big move here. Ready? The camera that scans the code is back here. Unless I'm some sort of Jedi, I'm not scanning your code. Some other guy at an event put up his hand and just goes, some people get their email on their computer, Scott. Well, I'm already on my computer then. What else could you put in an email that would allow me on a computer to go to your website? I don't know. A link? That I could click? Nobody's ever looked at a link and went, I don't know what that is. right? I have seen QR codes on websites, and I scanned them. Do you know where it takes you? Back to the website. I just have to breathe. It'll be okay. Think. That's all I'm asking you. Think before you do. Does it make it easier for our customer to buy something from us, contact us, or do something they'd love to do? If the answer is no, 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 stop it. Don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Stop doing things like this, which is the QR code pet tag. So what happens here if your cute pug dog gets lost and has a cute, look at the size of the tag on his neck. It's like a Frisbee. So if your cute pug dog gets lost or your psychotic cat, look at it. Look at the cat. There's 376 breeds of cat on the earth. That's the one you went with. The hairless cat of Satan. Back of the room. You could walk to the other side. It would follow you all the way over. It will kill you. That's what these cats will do. So here's the theory. You're walking down the street minding your own business, and there's a cute pug dog or Satan's cat. And you're like, whoa, I want to be a responsible citizen and save this lost animal. So you have to grab it by the neck, pull out your phone, scroll through your 76 windows of apps because you're a geek, and you get to the one, initialize, hang on one second, initialize it, focus it, all the while holding the animal down by the neck. Have you ever held down no. Have you ever held down a cat? It will kill you. It will kill you. Let me give you some numbers, okay? 85% of people in North America have a cell phone. We're starting off pretty well. 50% of those phones are capable of scanning a QR code, so a smartphone. 17% of those people have ever scanned a QR code, and 50% were successful and would ever use it again, for a grand cash and prize total of 3.6% of people would ever scan your QR code. Your animal's dead. That's what's going to happen. What else could we put on a pet tag that I could use to get in contact with somebody from a mobile device? I don't know, a phone number? With 99% of phones can dial another phone for the most part? Think of the cats. Think of the kittens. Think of your dogs. Think about it. Unless the Uber geek is walking by, you're in trouble. And us Uber geeks don't leave the house. So we wouldn't scan it anyways. Understand, we have to stop doing things like this, which is a bus in Atlanta. It says scan here to view emergency room wait times and hold your place in the ER because you just rear-ended a bus. I had somebody else in the audience say, Scott, that's not for people driving, that's for people walking. Who's walking behind buses? I'd like to talk to these people. It doesn't make sense. If you're going to put stuff on cars and trucks are the biggest people that put QR codes on things. It makes the least sense possible. If you're going to put stuff on your trucks and your vehicles, here's an example from the Shadow Milk Company in Kansas City, who not only have their website and not only have their Twitter name, but also have, in case of accident, please have cookies ready, lots and lots and lots of cookies. You take a picture of that, you share it. You want word of mouth, you do things worth talking about. They also have an ice cream campaign now. It says, ice cream, you scream, the police come, it's awkward. Who wants to try that ice cream now? I do. Why does a guy from Toronto in Canada now know about an independent dairy producer in Kansas City? Isn't that marketing? Isn't that branding? If I have a gig within 100 miles of Kansas City, I'm going to go get some ice cream from these people. That's marketing. And you know how much they spent for me to tell people about it? Nothing. And I talked to the people. I went and got in touch with them. And I said, how did you become so awesome? And they said, we hired an agency and then let them do what we paid them to do. You're totally going to go try to get them as a client now, right? You're going to You're going to steal Shadow as a client now because, oh, they listen to us? Nice. But that's the point. They let them do what they're supposed to do. They're like, we produce dairy products, and we brought the ad agency to do it and get us out there. And it has, exponentially has, because I'm sharing it now. It has nothing to do with me. That to me is marketing, because branding is in real time. Even when we get into the social media world, we understand it's in real time now. We don't have weeks to come up with our answer to something or a press release or damage control. It's in real time now. I had a problem with an airline. I won't name which one, but I had a problem with them. And it was in New York City. I love New York City. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. I absolutely adore it. Chelsea Market, I could live there. Broadway's amazing. I love the Bronx. I love Brooklyn. Everything's got its own world to it. And I hate their airports. I hate JFK and LaGuardia. Newark's gotten better, but JFK and LaGuardia, I can't stand them for a multitude of reasons. So when I go to the Delta hub at JFK, I get there for my flight. As a good Canadian, I get there like 3 days early. And I show up. And I get in the security line, I'm handing out maple syrup and doing the Canadian thing for everybody. I don't know, what are you talking about? There you go. And my polar bear's at home. I don't like you. Stop talking to me. So, and then wearing my Mountie outfit and everything else. So we're getting through the line, and about halfway through the wait in the line, they start letting people skip the line who are late for their flight. They do this, right? They like, anybody on this flight, come on, jump through. So I get to stage 1 Canadian anger, which is passive-aggressive politeness. And I'm like, no, please, go ahead, after you. No, please, no, I know you're late. Go. I was early. Go ahead, yeah. I know, you got caught in traffic? Who would have thought there was traffic in New York City? Yeah, go ahead, please. And then I get to the front of the line, and I'm happy. And I get ready, I get to the metal detector, and I get naked, put everything in the bucket, and I get ready to go through. And just then, the dance of the flight attendants happens. You've been in the airport security line when this happens? They are allowed to pretend nobody is there. And they just float through everyone. And it's like Cirque du Soleil. It's beautiful. It's breathtaking. And they get up to the front and they bypass everyone and go right to the front, put the bucket in, and go right through. Not even an excuse me in sight. Because this is what they do. And I understand why pilots and flight attendants are allowed to skip the line. I get that. But understand the first rule of Flight Club, okay? The first rule of Flight Club is that the flight will take off without me, the paying customer. It won't take off without you, the pilot. Right? So I understand it, but it does not excuse you, okay? I don't care who you are, I don't care where you're from, I don't care how much money you make or who you work for. That does not excuse you from common courtesy, okay? Please, thank you, excuse me. My mama taught me right, okay? This is the way you do it, okay? I don't care. You need to be polite to each other. That's how we do this type of, not to mention a paying customer. And by the 7th person that body checked me, I'm Canadian, I know what a hip check is. By the 7th hip check, I am no longer Canadian. And I reached stage 11 Canadian anger. Just jump right away to stage 11, which is Canadian swearing. And I turned to number 7. I turned to her with all the anger in my eyes, and I say something us Canadians should never say. And I turn towards her and I say, come on! That's it. I'm sorry for saying that. It's vulgar, but that's what I said. I think I said, come on, I'm sorry. I apologized very quickly after I said it. But I went, come on. I said, nobody, nothing. Not one, excuse me. And she turns around, she goes, I said excuse me. The Delta lapel pin on her, getting ready to go to her flight. And I'm like, I didn't hear anyone say excuse me. And she looks at me and goes, well then open your ears. Do you know who I am? And she goes through and keeps saying, I said excuse me, and she keeps going, and I hit stage 12 Canadian anger, which is flailing, silent facial expressions. Just... And I get through security, and I'm like, I'm gonna be sick. Stage 14 Canadian anger, I make my shun list. You ever made one for a brand? I'll never fly Delta again. My son will never fly Delta. His unborn children will never fly Delta. It's going in my will. If you want to make it up to me, I'm a big deal on Twitter. You need to make it better. I want my own plane. I want to sit on the pilot's lap. And I want 2 bags of pretzels with no saucy look from you when I ask for the second one, right? That's my shun list. And I'm so furious that I do the only thing that an entitled social media celebrity can do. I tweet, right? And I tweet and say, Delta Airlines flight attendant pushes in front of me at JFK security. When asked for at least an excuse me, she replies, open your ears. I am so furious. I am so blind with rage. I misspelled Delta. Did you see it before I pointed it out? No. Neither did I. And I just sent it. And 3 minutes later, Delta replied. They saw it. They have so many people in that industry blind with rage, they had to set up a search string for misspellings of their name. Something you should consider for your brand, maybe, right? Right? And they reply 3 minutes later with, I'm truly sorry to hear this. We expect our flight attendants to be courteous at all times. Please accept my apology. And I get this reply 3 minutes later sitting at the gate. I'm like, if you think you're good, oh, okay. It's okay. It wasn't a big deal. I feel bad. How are you? My entire attitude just changed, and I tweet, well, that made me smile, thank you, you just diffused my anger. It took everything away. Here's your key, okay? Here's your key to social media. It's not just authenticity. I know it's an overused term, but it's true. Being honest, being transparent is very important, especially in these days with social. But not only that, almost equally, if not more important, is immediacy. The amount of time we respond is crucial. If you're gonna play the social game, you gotta play in real time. You gotta play in real time, okay? Because here's what the example I wanna give you, okay? If they sent this apology tweet instead of 3 minutes later, they sent it 3 hours later, is the impact different? Yeah. What about 3 days later? Well, you know what the average response time on Twitter is? 3 days for this industry. Does it change it? Yes. Does it make it worse now? 100 times. Even 3 hours, terrible, right? When it comes to this type of situation. Twitter is not a good marketing tool. It's not a good sales tool. I've been in sales and marketing for a very long time. I know return rates. I know click-through rates. I understand ROI greatly. Terrible platform for sales. Amazing platform for brand recognition, saving, and customer service. There's a difference. Twitter's a conversation, not a dictation. Marketing means dictation. Sales is dictation. It's pushing out messages. Twitter's terrible for that. It's great for real-time things like this. And it changed it. And I wrote a blog post saying the tweet that saved the brand, Delta's brand to me, and 27,000 people read it. It's the only positive airline blog post in the history of the internet. And you know how much they paid for that post? Nothing. They did something worth talking about. Because if I wrote a post of how much I hate the person because they snapped at me, it's one of the 1,000 posts out there this month about that type of thing. And I swore off Delta, this is over a year ago, and since their save tweet they wrote, I've flown Delta 26 times. Now I'm in Canada, so my Delta hub's not like here. That's a lot of flights with Delta, and they're business class flights. That's a lot of revenue. I agree with people when they say there's no ROI in Twitter. I'm part of that. I'm on that same page. I'm with that army, right? But there is an ROI in being awesome, and sometimes that happens on Twitter. Twitter's just a tool. Facebook's just a tool, right? I have influence in all the platforms. I have 165,000 followers on Twitter. I have almost 20,000 people that like me on Facebook. I have 3 friends in real life. 14,000 people circle me on Google+. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I don't get it. I have 5,000 connections on LinkedIn. 3 friends in my life, okay? That's how it works. But what I do know is how we use the tool. And that's the difference, a huge difference. Because we share things we see as funny and ridiculous. Can you look to your left and then to your right? And if one of those people is not laughing right now, can you explain it? I don't want to explain it. I already swore once when I said the Canadian anger, so I don't want to do it again. So this, of course, got out there, and it's amazing. And we share this on social because, hey, it's awesome. And they went and they changed the logo to this, and I saw that, and I'm like, why would you do that? Remember at the start I said logos don't really matter? This logo matters, okay? I would have driven to Wisconsin just to take a picture with this logo. Get some sweet deep fried cheese curds, check out a Packers game, and go take a picture with the logo, right? It's tourism, for crying out loud. It would have brought me there because of it, and they went and changed it. But it spreads because if you want things to go viral, you want word of mouth, what happens is we have to evoke emotion. Whether it's happy, sad, angry, excited, intellectual, whatever that is, it has to be extreme. Nobody spreads mediocre, right? And we rarely spread a commercial. That's how it works, right? So when we get a receipt and it says, "I'm not pregnant, but thanks for the eating for two" comment. Are there guys in the room right now? Okay, guys, come here. Come on, I want to give you some life advice for a second here, from me to you. Never, ever assume she's pregnant unless she tells you to your face, or you can see the head. Don't assume she's pregnant. It's not appropriate. 4 million views of this receipt. Why? Because it's awesome. That's why. Here's another thing, an example of video. It hit a while ago. Some of you saw this video. It's the FedEx delivery guy, okay? And he's chucking a package over the fence and walking away. He didn't buzz, he didn't knock, he just threw the package over the fence and went back to his truck. In the package is a computer monitor. Now, it could be a box of feathers. It doesn't matter, right? You just don't do that, right? There's two groups of people you never want to tick off in this world, okay? Geeks and moms. And if they're a geek mom, run. Don't look back, just run. Put the keys down, give them the place, and run away. Just don't ever do it, because it's ridiculous, right? So what happened, because consumers and us consumers, we never had a platform before. If we were upset 10 years ago with something, with FedEx or anything else, what would we do about it? We'd write a strongly written letter to them or something? We'd fax it to them? Like, what would we do? Right? We tell our neighbors. They say, back, you heard the numbers, right? If you have a good experience, you tell 2 people. If you have a bad one, you pick the number, 8, 10, 20 people. Now, if you have a good or bad, we can tell infinite within 1 second. In my pocket on my phone, I have access to 165,000 people on Twitter in real time. They're not online once, but I have that access. I can get that word out. We are the word of mouth, right? We are the ones who do this, right? It's amazing right now, because it's like Braveheart for geeks. Like, we're all on top of the mountain, but instead of blue face paint, it's like ink toner. And we're like all ready to run down. And it's one brand at the bottom with a brochure saying, wait, it doesn't, I love how the scales have tipped, that we can now stand up for it. And we stand up for this because we've all been wrong by something. And from a branding, I got a room full of people who understand brand. From a branding perspective, can the FedEx truck be parked any better? It's perfect. It's perfect, right? It's a 2 logo exposure. Very hard to get. Very hard. It's like the UPS guy backed the truck in. We got 2? All right, put on the uniform, let's do this, right? Go brown. That's what they did. So who orders computer monitors? Geeks, right? Who patches into the condominium camera system and records it? Geeks. That's what we do. That's our job, okay? That's our thing. And he uploads this, and it got 1 million views in an hour. It's the fastest growing video I've ever seen. I've been online since 1994. I have seen every video on the internet. Look at my eyes. Every video on the internet. And I have never seen a video grow this fast. Not Evolution of Dance, not Gangnam Style, not some stupid Harlem Shake video. None of it grew as fast as I saw this. Why? Because we've had enough. We've had enough, right? And what happens was, remember I talked about immediacy being important, being crucial? FedEx responds to this the same day on their corporate blog post. Now, posting anything on a corporate blog the same day is miraculous to me. It's amazing. And they posted a thing that's the greatest blog post title I've ever heard. It said, absolutely, positively, unacceptable. That was the title. Absolutely, period, positively, period, unacceptable, period. And they wrote, and they apologized, and they owned it. This is unacceptable. We are sorry. Here's what we're doing for the customer. Here's what we're doing about the package. They've got a new one. We've reimbursed the money. Blah, 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 blah. And here's what we're doing. This is not reflective of our 17 trillion employees. This is not this. And then they left the comments open. Some of you in the room like, whoa, no. And 90% of the comments were positive. FedEx made themselves look better than they did before the screw-up. I'm going to say that again. FedEx made themselves look better as a brand than they looked before the screw-up even happened. When it hits the fan, it's not time to hide behind the fan. It's time to be awesome. And not only did they have a blog post, but they had a video embedded in it from Matthew Thornton. The frickin' third came out. They are generationally sorry. And he owns it. He owns it. He looks at the camera, he's like, we screwed up. Oh my Lord, we screwed up. I'm sorry. Right? Right? I think we're a forgiving society. I really think we are. If you just own it. If you don't pass the buck, if you don't pass blame and you own it, we can forgive you. You can't change the fact you're in the spotlight, especially in social media. Once that toothpaste comes out of that tube, it's not going back in. Right? But you can change your reaction, and people are looking for your response and your reaction. And the last thing I want to show you guys before I'm done is a tweet, not this one, but the reply. Men's Humor tweets, this morning I gave birth to a food baby, and I think Taco Bell is the father. So how do you reply to this? As Taco Bell. Good. Some of you are getting the joke now? It's working its way around the room now? All right, good. How do you reply to this as a brand? They're a humor magazine. They have no rules. How do we reply to them? What can you do? I know the team at Taco Bell. They're an amazing team, right? And Taco Bell replies with the only reply they can possibly do, and they say, I want a DNA test. Thank you, 3% conference. Thank you, Kat, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Scott, I want you to hear this.
Okay.
This is a great story that happened to me. So last year, I was sitting in my office working, and I put out a tweet, and it said, I wish that TaskRabbit had telepathic runners that knew when you needed chocolate. 45 minutes later, knock, knock, knock on my office door. I open the door, and there's a guy standing there with a pound of truffles with a ribbon around it. And he says, are you Kat Gordon? And I said, I am. And he said, this is from TaskRabbit. Have a nice day.
I need to send a tweet about chocolate.
So they did the talk-worthy thing. And I have told, my husband was like, I don't get it. Who paid for it? And I'm like, dude, it was like the smartest free investment. But I've told everyone.
And every day, those opportunities pop up.
Yeah.
And we just let them slide by. We let them slide by. And that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Great story.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.